Hello, hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing well, man.
Let me just
Hell
adjust
yeah.
this real quick. Perfect. 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 Alrighty. Before we
Mm-hmm.
start, I have one quick thing to do for you because I was saving this for you because I know I saw you playing the Mario thing, right? Remember you were
Yeah.
playing Mario 64 and you were like you weren't struggling, but it was a rough time for you. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to bring back bad memories, but I do have a surprise for you. Just give me one
All right.
sec.
Oh god. Okay. Yeah, I'm ready. Oh no, I'm gonna be hit with some trauma, aren't I? Oh no, I'm gonna get some flashbacks. Oh jeez. Oh god, I'm gonna need a drink for this. I'm gonna need a drink for this. Oh Jesus.
So I thought this would be more appropriate for
All right.
you to so it brings back kind of memories of what you were doing with Mario. You know what I'm saying? So we got
Yeah.
the
Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah. 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 Yeah, dude. Oh man, that was an interesting stream. That was my first time playing Super Mario 64
hmm.
ever. I've never played that game before.
I could
And
tell.
and so one of my mates who's like a full-on like pro speed runner, he's like, dude, you gotta play. I'm like, okay. For a long time I was telling him like, all right, I'm we'll see. And then eventually I caved in. I was like, all right, we'll play it. So I decided to do a stream with him, and he's like teaching me the ropes, how to speed run it, like the tactics you need to do, so on and so
Hmm.
forth. Needless to say, so from my understanding, about I think 15 minutes is like the top speedrunner thing or whatever like that.
Really?
It I think so. I think personal best like PB. I don't know the whole
That's wild.
SM64 lingo, but 15 minutes, 17 minutes, somewhere around there is like where top tier speedrunners are. Um, we did it in 8 hours, so like I'd say we did a pretty solid job. So
Scoted.
we got there in
Scoted.
the end.
Yeah, 100%. That's you really leveled the playing field when it comes
Exactly.
to professional speedrunners. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly. So if I can do it, anyone can do it.
yeah,
That's what you know.
I agree. I never even bothered to finish that game because it was so fucking frustrating. Like, I'll just get to the point where I'd be like, do I have to keep playing this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is there any other games to play? Like, this is back when you had an N64 and you could only have like a certain amount of cartridges. Like, you know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
not like you're loading in new games. You had to go buy a cartridge. It was just like,
Yeah.
and then half the time they didn't fucking work anyway. So it was just like, it
Exactly.
was a
Yeah.
real struggle. Dude, thanks for doing the podcast. I really appreciate you coming on.
Of course, man.
We
Yeah.
jokingly spoke about this a couple of weeks ago, and then I was like, you know what though, it'd be really fun if we did one, and then all of a sudden it just kind of came to fruition. So that's exciting,
Yeah.
and I like to do these more regularly now because I think it's really important that everyone gets to know each other, and
Yeah. For sure.
it's a good way to help you, it's a good way to help me, and it's a good way to help everyone in the community learn a bit more about everything. And it's interesting to watch, I think, because like the last few guests we've had have been really, really interesting. So no pressure, but just be interesting, all right? No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
All right. All right. Don't worry. I got it. I got my schmaltzy persona on. I'm ready to
Yeah.
go, baby.
Look, the first thing I always ask people who come on, and a little bit of a closed format, is give us a little bit of a rundown on who you are, what you do for a living, and a little bit about your streaming, and why you do that. Give
All
us
right.
the lowdown.
All right. So pretty much, my name's Shmuelzy. I just recently started streaming on Twitch around June last year. Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
June last year, early June last year. Um, I've been working at McDonald's for about 10 years, and I have 6 more shifts left until I'm done with McDonald's completely.
Nice.
And I intend on doing this stuff full time, and the whole Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, all that good stuff. I intend on doing that as my full time thing. For I should be okay financially for like the next few months in terms of my long service leave for McDonald's, the 10 years. So it's pretty well timed. So we'll see how the next couple of months go. Maybe the whole year. We'll see how the next year goes. 2022. I'm really excited. I'm really grateful as to, all the support I've been getting from
Hmm.
all this streaming stuff and all the amazing people I've met like throughout all of this. So like I'm yeah, super grateful. But in terms of like what I do on Twitch, like I'm a variety streamer, so like originally we started playing chess and GeoGuess. I'm pretty sure that's how you originally met me, was like through chess way back when. Um but we started off doing chess and GeoGuess, and now we're kind of like doing a whole bunch of stuff. We did a podcast earlier today. Um, we're playing Among Us tomorrow. Like we're doing a whole like variety. It just a lot of it is just chatting and just vibing out with the community and stuff like that. But yeah, we just do a whole variety of stuff really, and that's kind of where
Awesome.
I'm interested in kind of seeing where the creative stuff comes out from that. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, dude. I mean, like the variety on Twitch, I think is the way to go. Like,
Yeah,
I was saying to the guys in the chat before, like, when you find people who stream one game, they either have to be the best at that game, um, and if they're not, they'll struggle. I think I find that with a lot
yeah,
of people. Like I know mates who like have been streaming Warzone since day one, right?
mm,
And they're pretty good gamers. Like they're pretty good at Warzone, but they're not like fucking like professional players. You know what I mean? And they don't get viewers. I
yeah,
find that a lot. But then they stream something else for the first time, and then all of a sudden they have double the amount of viewers that they had when they were playing Warzone every day. And I think that's
yeah,
that's that's telling itself. Like one, it's an oversaturated category, so you're never going to get enough people in there. Because you know what? If you look at the Warzone category, right? If there's 200,000 people watching that at any one time, think about that.
mm,
100,000 of those people are watching partner streamers,
hmm,
right? 90,000 of the additional people that are watching, they're all within like 20 channels, right? And then you've got
yeah,
everyone on one viewer under that. And there's probably
yeah,
like 100,000 people on one viewer. So you're never going to find people like in that
yeah.
category. But for you and me, the most craziest thing is I started out doing Warzone originally. The most craziest thing and the greatest thing that ever happened to me was I discovered other games and other things to do. And like the most successful times we ever do things is when we do different things. So like, chatting or doing like, Minecraft of all things. I can't believe how popular Minecraft is on this platform. People don't even realize.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that I thought like, so I stopped playing Minecraft for a long time because I thought people were bored of it. It's because I used to
Mm.
play it every week. I used to have Tuesday night Minecraft night, right? But I stopped playing because I was like, oh, I don't feel like it's very interesting. And then I said to the guys, I always have this chat with all the VIPs and the mods and stuff, and I say, guys, what games do you want to see? And everyone was saying Minecraft, and I was just like, really? Like, I had no idea. So as someone who is like a content creator, I was like, oh my god, I didn't even know that that's what you wanted to watch. And now we're watching, and we're doing that every week, and all of a sudden, everybody's getting really excited about it, right? So it's just like, it's like it's brought itself back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Having not had it for a
100%.
while. But
Yeah,
I love that.
yeah. It's weird because like sometimes I'll experience the same thing. Like I'll put on a new game that I've never played before, and all of a sudden my viewership will just kind of like peak, or like I'll be up, you know what I mean? Like above average. And I'll be like, hold on a sec, like where did this come from? Like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's really interesting to see like as a variety streamer in general, like how different games and like different things that you dabble with, and like how it's brought in like through the community, and how like the community reacts to that. And like I try to do this thing on my streams every now and again where it's like a nostalgia night, so like we sometimes play some old school games and stuff like that. Like a couple of weeks ago we did RuneScape, like old school RuneScape, and I haven't played that game in like I don't even know, like
Dude,
2004, 2000.
decades.
Yeah, yeah, dude. It's been
Decades,
a
bro.
while.
That's
And like
still good though.
yeah, it was great. Like I mean, I did one stream with it. Like I haven't, but like it was like all of a sudden everyone came into the stream and like, dude, I haven't played this game in ages. I'm like, dude, neither have I. Like it's been
Wild.
ages. And we all vibed out to the fact that like this is like a nostalgic night. Like we all vibed out to the fact that this is RuneScape, and all of us in the chat were like all reminiscing on the fact that like,
Hmm.
hold on a sec, like this is what you have to do. This is where you have to go there, and this is where you do this, and this is where you do that. And it was like, it's one of those things, right? Like when you try something new, and then sometimes it's good, and like sometimes it doesn't work out so well. But like for the most part, it's an experience nonetheless. And I think that's definitely something that I'm like really keen on, like the new experiences that I've been having is definitely something.
Yeah,
It's out of my comfort zone a little bit, but like
that's good.
it's definitely something I'm vibing with at the moment for sure.
Yeah, exactly. That's 100%. Mew, welcome into the chat. Lonnie, I saw you there as well. Welcome in. Mew, we were talking to our fellow streaming friend Shmuelzy today. A
Yeah,
little bit
yeah.
about everything that his channel is all about, and also a little bit about just, general topics about gaming and stuff. So welcome in. Mew is a partner streamer who plays League of Legends. So
Oh.
always has a good time. Her streams are a bit of a vibe as well. Happy to see you, and thank you for coming in. Shulzy. What a weird name. Pancakes is your biggest supporter, I reckon.
It seems like it. It seems like it. I mean, we've got many supporters, but like she's been on top of it. Like in the past like week or two, like we've vibed so hard and like
I know.
yeah, I'm sure you were there, but like we did a spontaneous like podcast sort of chatting thing for like last week or 2 weeks ago, something like that. And since then we've just kind of, started this podcast thing and I don't know, it's been kicking off and yeah. There's been a lot happening in the past couple of weeks and I'm you know what? I'm down for it and I'm vibing with it and I'm yeah, dude.
I love that. Oh, hey, cheers, bro. Good cheers. Both being
Cheers, man.
Aussies, you got to have a beer, right?
Cheers, man.
Speaking of which, dude, how do you like when it comes to streaming, like as an Australian and stuff? Do you feel like it's easier or harder? Because like obviously time zone differences and like the majority of people on Twitch are always in the US and stuff. Have you worked out sort of like time periods and stuff? Because I've spent a lot of time sort of streaming at different times to try and work out exactly what the base is. Do you know what I mean? Have you had some trouble with that, or has that been an interesting experience for you?
Yeah, it's definitely been an interesting experience for me, 100%. Because I've looked through my stats and my analytics and all that good stuff. And I found that like it's a 50-50. Like I have 50 like American sort of thing, and then 50 like Australian, New Zealand kind of oceanic type of thing.
Yeah.
Um, so like trying to find a nice balance between the two, where like I'm not streaming too late, so that it's like when I say too late, I mean like it's too late for the American kind of viewer audience where it's like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But at the same time, it's not like too early or too late for like the Australians, because like a lot of the time I find I don't know, it's weird because like the audience I feel like from like 5 p.m. like Australian Eastern Daylight Time, I guess. From that time onwards, it's like a lot of it is Australian Oceanic kind of thing. Tell me if I'm wrong, by the way, because like I feel
No,
like
no,
you've
you
got
go,
more
you go. You tell me.
experience
You tell
in
me.
this. Um, but like I'm trying. I feel like over the next few weeks, I'm gonna try to start streaming a little bit earlier, like maybe like 3 p.m. or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like that's like when some of the big either like the big American streamers and all those American streamers and stuff, they start to like wrap up their streams and everything like that. And it's like starting to get a little bit late. Like I'm thinking like 9 or 10, 11 p.m. for them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when like I go live. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Um, and then I continue going on up until like for us Australians, it'll be like 3, 4, 5, 6 p.m. and stuff like that, and go up until midnight or 1 or 2 a.m. when it starts to get like early morning for the Americans, and it's a good time for like the Europeans as well because it's starting to be like early morning, sort of
Mm-hmm.
midday for the Europeans. So I kind of like this time period because one, it works with my sleep schedule because I'm not really much of an early morning person.
I get that.
Um, and two, like it kind of seems to be a weird time, but at the same time, it's like a good time because it's like on one hand you get like the early morning rises of the Europeans, but you also get the late night owls of the Americans, but you also
Mm.
get the like after work Aussies. You know what I mean?
It's
Like
a good mix.
so. So it's a good mix. Like I kind of vibe with it, and it seems to be going well. So like I think I might continue with this schedule, and I might dabble with different
Mm-hmm.
time zones
Yeah.
and do different stuff like
I like to
that.
switch
But
it up every now and again. So like
yeah,
a couple of weeks ago when I wasn't working, because obviously it was over Christmas, I was streaming. I was starting at 11 p.m.
mm.
and I was ending at like 9 a.m. Like,
yeah,
so
yeah.
that weird times, right? Because like obviously the Aussies who are on holidays were there.
Mm.
Then the UK viewers had me during the day, and the US viewers had to be during the day. So it was like, it was a good time because I find that I speak for my own base. My base of people, majority of them are UK US. So I don't have as many Aussies in my stream. So it's mostly not all, but mostly UK US viewers. So that's because a lot of the streamers that I watch, or a lot of the streamers that I have supported who have come in here, are all UK US streamers, right?
Yeah,
Or
right.
people that I really enjoy watching and stuff. There's a lot of Aussie streamers that I watch and stuff, but the issue is we always stream at the same time.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like, it's
100%.
very hard to watch all your mates who are streaming because you're streaming when you're streaming. So like,
Yeah,
it's like a catch-22. It's like I want to support my friends,
yeah,
but at the same time, I also want to be able to do it as well because I enjoy it. Like, so it's like a thing you have to balance. So the way you balance it is, or I find it, because I like to support other people as much as they support me. So it's like I'd rather take a couple of days off and then watch people and then do my own thing later during the week. Because I find that Mondays and Tuesdays for me aren't very busy days. So I will try to like use those 2 days to show as much support to other people as I can. Not because I expect it back, just because I want to watch their streams. You know what I mean? Because like,
yeah,
I believe in the framework that people who watch you deserve your support back. Now, I think a lot of people don't agree with that, and for different reasons. Like, if you get like, if you put more time and effort into your socials, you put more time and effort into your streaming and stuff, you don't have time to do that. I understand, and I don't expect people to return the favors, and I don't expect people to come in and watch me because I watch them. That's not how this works. But it's sort of my philosophy on things, because I think that's important, because I think you need to learn more about the people in your chat. And this is why I do the podcast. You learn more about people in your chat, and you learn more about people in your community, and that makes it a better community. I think that's my personal experience in that. But it's not always the case for a lot of people. Like, I watch streamers on a day-to-day basis who have never been here, who've never even fucking said hello in this chat. It doesn't matter. I just love watching them. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't expect them never to come in. But the funny part about it is that they're my comfort zone. You know what I mean? I go into their stream because I enjoy it, and other people come into this stream for the same reason. That's what it's all about, right? Do you agree?
yeah. Yeah, 100%. 100%. I agree. I think the problem that I'm currently dealing with, and I wouldn't call it a problem. I think it's a good thing. But I find I was mentioning this earlier in my stream earlier today. But like, there are so many good content creators on
Mm-hmm.
all the time. Doesn't matter what time zone you're in.
No.
There's always someone good on, and I'm starting to notice that because like sometimes I'll be up at like in the middle of the night. Other times I'll
Yeah.
be up early in the morning. Other times I'll be up at night and midday, whatever time it is. So I have someone that's always on, that's like a good content creator to always watch. So like what happens with me is I get myself like, I used to spend a lot of time on YouTube. Like I used to be someone that was constantly on
Yeah, me
YouTube
too.
watching all this stuff.
Switch to
Whereas
Twitch,
now,
right?
yeah, I'm only on Twitch now. That's it. I'm only on Twitch. And like the only times I do go on YouTube is when I'm watching like some Twitch streamers YouTube content. That's it. Like that's the only time I'm on YouTube. Like
You're a
watching
Twitch
highlights or
whore. We
something.
know.
Yeah, we talked about this. I'm a Twitch slot. Like that's how it is. Like you know? So like it's great. Like I mean I like we're talking about this, like I have like multiple tabs open at the same time, and I'm trying my best to like watch every single person as much as I can because
Mm.
I'm invested in their content, because I love their content. And like I mean the best I can do is like I might not be like physically chatting in their chat all the time, but like the best I could do is like gift a couple of subs here and there and just be like, yo, like I support your shit. Like I'm here for it, and like I'm gonna try my best to be here as often as I can. And like every now and again, like I feel bad because I'm not in someone's stream as
Can't be
off
everywhere
as
at once,
much.
bro.
Exactly. Like
You're only
and
one
that's
person.
yeah,
And you have a life as
exactly.
well, you gotta remember. So, like, the hardest
Exactly.
part is
Yeah.
balancing that. Because you know what? It's one thing to be a Twitch whore, but it's another thing to literally spend every single hour on Twitch, because it will do your fucking head in eventually.
Yeah.
You can't do that. I've done that for like nearly a year or so now. And
Yeah.
every now and again, I have to take a week where I just don't go on at all. Because you need to refresh your brain. It's like a reboot. It's like like fragging your hard drive of your brain. You know what I mean? Like, you just got to do that, because every now and again you just got to say, look, I need to go and do other things and just like just refresh yourself. You know what I mean? You can't
Mm.
do that every single day forever. You'll literally go insane. Like it's not good for your health.
Yeah, yeah, I suppose so. At the moment, like I haven't really experienced any of that. So like I'm trying to like schedule out
Twitch
my like
burnout. It's real.
yeah, Twitch
Trust me.
burnout, yeah. I mean, I haven't experienced that just as yet. I'm still like super energetic and kind of like on board. So like I mean, I'll wake up and I'll like immediately grab my phone, I'll check the socials and I'll go on
Mm.
Twitch and see who's streaming and I'll quickly jump in. I may not like say anything in the chat. Like I might just quickly like jump in and sit and have a look at what's happening and what they're doing and
Yeah,
depending on my mood, I might say, "Yo, what's up?" and whatever. But a lot of the times, I am a little bit of a lurker. Um,
I get that.
but like,
I do
I
the
do,
same.
I do, I do like to jump in and just see what everyone's up to. So like, you know, when they do come into my chat or when I do speak to them next time, I'm like, "Yo, like, I see what you're doing. Like, I know what you're up to. Like, you know, how's it going, man? Like, you know,
Exactly.
because like, I feel like it's important, like, because I don't know, like, I feel like for me recently, especially in the past couple of weeks, like networking and like getting to know more people, like I've gotten to know so many amazingly talented people um through Twitch that I've never had this kind of like um kind of friendship and like community and vibes that I've received um ever, really.
Mm.
And to sort of see this like reciprocation of like um I don't know, like it feels great and wholesome, and I'm down for it. Like yeah,
I
I'm
agree.
totally on board for it. Yeah.
That's good, man. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Quick good night to Kimura and Pancakes. Thank you guys for sticking around and
Ah,
hanging out with us. Much
good night,
love.
guys.
And yeah, make sure if you miss anything, guys, I post the VOD to YouTube and I edit up a video for that. So if you do miss anything, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can catch it later on. So that's perfect for that. Um, Other questions I like to ask people who come on, bro.
Mhm.
Um, when you were a kid, right? Were you a real gamer or were you a real nerd? What did you what did you enjoy doing? Like was it books? Was it games? Was what was it that brought you onto something like this?
Have you ever watched like the In-Betweeners?
Yes.
Like yeah. So it's kind of my vibe, right? So like, I never was like part of the cool kids, and I wasn't part of the nerds either. So I was like
Mm-hmm.
always like in between there. Like, so like I was really good friends with like all the like I wouldn't say like good friends with the cool kids, but like I was like in between. So like I would hang out with all like the nerds and all the gamers and stuff, but I was
Mm-hmm.
never playing those games. So they'd be like, "Oh yeah, like the new Modern Warfare 2 just came out." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, Modern Warfare 2. Like I've been playing it. Yeah, like
Sometimes.
yeah." And then meanwhile, like the cool kids would be like, "Oh, we're going to this party. Like this party last night was so sick." I was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got invited to that party as well. Yeah, for sure." So like it was a weird thing. So like I was good friends with like everyone and stuff like that, but like I was never really like sort of I never really grew up as like a gamer, so to
Mm.
speak, because like my family and stuff, like we didn't grow up in like a sort of rich sort of family where I had an Xbox and a PlayStation and all that kind of stuff. So I played, you know, very like sort of free to play games. I played a lot of Tetris. I played a lot of
Yeah.
free, like I don't know. I played Minecraft a bit growing up. I can't remember all the games I played. You know, stuff like, you know, Minesweeper and
Oh yeah, yeah.
Pinball and Solitaire. You know, all those games that you had
Dude,
on
low
your Microsoft.
key, pinball
Yeah,
was on Windows was probably one of the
yeah,
greatest
dude,
games. Not gonna
dude. I'm
lie.
telling you, yeah, that shit was dope.
Yeah, I remember all the sound alerts and everything. Like
Yeah.
it's just so good. It was so good. We used to have competitions, me and my mates, to see
Oh,
who could
really?
get the highest score. Like, I know that was fun. Like, you know, because that was the only game we had on the computer. So yeah, it was freaking sick. I
I
understand
remember.
that.
Yeah. So like I think the like I got a play like a PSP. I remember that. It was like on my birthday. Like I saved up enough money for a PSP. I had like one or two games on that. And I was like really excited. I think GTA Liberty City was like the only game I got on that. And I was like really excited for that. And then like I didn't get any games on that because like I didn't have the money for it. And I traded that PSP in for like a Nintendo Wii, which was a big regret. I should have gotten an Xbox instead. But I had like Wii Sports. I had Mario Kart, and that was about it. So
Hmm.
like I didn't really grow up gaming a whole lot. Um, but it felt now that I'm doing all this stuff now, it's kind of like I get to like all those games that I missed out on the past, I get to like experience them now
Mm.
for the first time. And like a lot of people will like roast me and be like, "Oh, you're trash at this, you're trash at that." I'm like, "Yeah, well, this is my first time playing it." So like,
That's the vibe
so
though, because some
yeah.
people haven't like so games that we've all played, like nostalgic games,
Hmm.
and I see someone playing that game for the first time, I want to watch. Like
Yeah.
if I see someone playing Halo for the first time, I want to
Yeah.
watch. Like
Yeah.
that's because you know what, everyone's played Halo, right? But you find that one person who's never played Halo, and they're like, "I'm playing Halo for the first time." It's like this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. Like, and I want to see that person go through the emotion that I went through learning about it. Do you know what I mean? Like as I went through
Yeah.
that game, the storyline and the playthrough and like like all the things that happen, you have an emotional
Yeah.
reaction to it as you go through it. I want to relive that through that person. For the it's
Yeah.
like seeing through their eyes. It's the same reason that people on YouTube do reaction videos, right?
Mm.
So when you do like music reaction videos, so like there's this guy that I watch on YouTube who does reaction videos to metal music, right? And
Right.
he's not a
Yeah.
metalhead. He is now because he's been doing it for like 5 years. But like he started and he'd never heard a metal song in his life. Basically, he'd
Mm.
only ever heard what he heard on the radio. And people would send in songs for him to listen to, react to. And obviously, they all send the most ridiculously fucked up songs you could ever fucking imagine. But they also send in some really good ones. And like it just developed over time. And now he's gone from he was a hip hop artist. He now listens to metal all the time. He interviews metal, like major metal brands and streamers and musicians and all sorts of things. And he has like nearly, I think it's more 700K followers or something on
Jeez.
on
Yeah.
Twitch. Sorry, on YouTube. That's wild,
Yeah.
right? And so he went
Yeah.
from this random dude who just like listened to like created hip hop music to someone who listens to metal reaction videos for a living, which is that's the internet right there, right? That's the power of the internet. Like you never know what it's going to be. You know, the next idea could be the biggest idea you have. That's why it's open to interpretation. You never know. You just need that opportunity, right? So I love watching things like that because I'm a massive metalhead. I've always been a metalhead since the day I was fucking born. I swear to God. And every time I hear a new metal song, I get like excited, like proper excited. And then like I see someone reacting to that song who's never heard it, well, after I've heard it, and I'm like, yes, this is the great. And now they get to experience how I felt when I first heard it. You know what I mean? And that's the same with video games. It's the same thing. So you could be
Yeah.
onto something there, not having played many games. What are big brand games that you've never played that you could play?
Oh, dude, there's so many, and and like to this day, people keep recommending me all these different games to play, and there's a lot of like nostalgic games that I still want to get to that I still haven't played. Like a lot of the Sonic games, I remember growing up. Like I'm sure you can relate to like Cheese TV and Toasted TV
Oh
growing up,
yeah,
like watching that shit. Like when you
Pokemon,
like
Dragon Ball Z,
yeah, Dragon Ball Z and all that kind of stuff. Like
Yu-Gi-Oh, Digimon, all that kind of shit. Yeah, yeah, it
yeah,
was good
dude, like
stuff.
all this stuff. Like I never like watched this or played any of these stuff, like,
Yeah, yeah,
so, like,
yeah.
there's a lot of games, like, old retro games that I've never played before that everyone keeps talking about. Pokemon is a thing that I've never experienced. Like, I could probably name maybe, like, 10 Pokemons.
Really,
That's about it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those
that's
things, like,
wild,
I
dude.
just never grew up on it. Like, in my, like, primary school, like, elementary school for, like, the Americans, like, I grew up on Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Like I had a couple of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Like if I scraped up enough like pocket money from cleaning the backyard and stuff like that. Like I managed to get like the Blue Eyes White Dragon. You know, but like Pokemon, I never grew up on Pokemon. So like when people like are naming all these different Pokemons, I'm like yeah yeah yeah. Like I know all about them. Yeah, for sure. Um,
Wow,
so like,
that's
Pokemon is
crazy.
definitely something that, like, I'd be interested in getting into and just being like, "Yo, this is brand new for me." Like, yes, obviously, I know about Pikachu and Bulbasaur and Charizard and
Hmm.
stuff like that, but, like, you start getting into any others, and I'm like, like,
Yeah,
that's something that's yes, one of those Game Boy Colors, yeah.
I have all the original
I
ones.
That's insane, dude. That's
Yeah, yeah.
insane. Yeah, I don't know, I've never had one. So I wouldn't know how to,
Man,
that's one of those things, right?
it'd be really interesting if you could do a screen share like a emulator for Pokemon Yellow or something, like one of the original ones, like Pokemon
Yeah,
Blue or Pokemon Red, and you could do an emulator of one of those and maybe play that on the stream. Because I reckon a lot of people would really appreciate that because those games were fucking hard. They were
yeah,
real difficult games, and like you really had to grind when it came to those games. You do like maybe like a week of doing that or something like that, or you could have like a day where you set to do that. I reckon it'd draw in a lot of people. That'd be a really cool thing to do.
yeah. I think so because I've actually contemplated doing like a sort of like Schmulzy like learns this game for the first time ever kind of thing. Like I
Yeah.
think like that would be like a good sort of ongoing series or something like that. Like I
Mm-hmm.
think
The first
something like
playthrough
that would
category
100%.
is really, really popular. So
Yeah,
you chuck that up when you're playing a game for the first time, people watch. I'm telling you.
yeah.
Yeah, I've done that with a few games. Like there was a few games I'd never played. Like I played Subnautica. I'd never
Mm.
played that game in my life. I hated every minute of it. I was playing it. I was trying to enjoy it, and I was just like, I am so lost. And I spent I think 2 or 3 hours just going around in circles and dying. And I was like, I hate it. And I never played it again. I paid like $50 for that game or something. I never touched it once ever again. It was just like depressing. Like I was so lost. I like a game with direction, like
Yeah,
with some sort of like I don't know, some sort of purpose. Like
yeah,
it just felt like pointless. So like I was
yeah,
and it frustrated the shit out of me. Like so I was just like I don't want to play this. Like I don't want to do this. Like this is annoying me. So but then when the new Halo came out, so I'm a massive, massive Halo fan, as you can obviously tell with the giant Halo helmet next to me. Um, I am a massive Halo fan. I have loved Halo since the day I was born. I fucking love Halo. It's so good. And the first game I ever bought was Halo on my first ever Xbox. And my name, Rugged Adzilla, was my generated Xbox name when I was 12, and I've kept it ever
nice.
since.
Hell
Every
yeah.
single platform I've ever played on, whether it be Xbox, PC, PlayStation, whatever it was, Rugged Adzilla has been my gamer tag. And so it's very easy to find. And I've basically copyrighted that shit. Like, and seriously, like, Halo was like one of those games I would play it over and over and over and over again. So when they first brought out, or when they brought out the new Halo Infinite, I hadn't played the campaign, and I said to the chat, I was like, whatever you do not tell me a single thing about this game until I've done it. I said, because if anybody does it, I'm permabanning you for life. Like, literally, I was just like adamant about it. And people were like, okay, that was good. And so I played it from start to finish. It took me 3 streams. And I played the campaign from start to finish. And I was like a fucking kid in a candy store, mate. I literally, the grin on my face, I was pretty close to crying at the end of the game. But I kind of held back those tears a little bit. But I was so happy, bro. It was one of those things. It's just like, I don't know, the nostalgia was there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You need to find that
I
game.
Yeah, so like I remember seeing like a few people similar in that vibe. I remember watching another streamer um who was playing like the Halo Infinite campaign like, and I just remember like seeing him like booting it up and like starting it and
Yeah,
just watching
yeah,
the first I just see him like tearing up and I'm like,
yeah.
"Oh my God, like this is serious." Like he's
100%.
so like I get it. I just personally never had that sort of
It's the game and
connection with any
national
game.
anthem,
Yeah,
mate.
yeah. I mean, like I played like growing up in high school and stuff. Like I played a lot of Minecraft and stuff like that. Like I remember playing Minecraft when it was like first in its alpha stage and stuff.
Hmm.
Back when Minecraft was like $5 or something like that, and I remember playing it like in its alpha stage and all that kind of stuff. And I played RuneScape like growing up. Back in like
D&D.
2000. Yeah, I never played a lot of D&D. But yeah, like stuff like that I did play a fair bit. But yeah, like I don't know, like it's an interesting like I find myself I can't get like too invested in one particular game because
I
like
get that.
I just want to jump from game to game. I feel like I need to go. I need to go to the doctors and find out. But I feel like I've got some sort of ADD where I just jump. Like I just gotta like I can't
You get
focus
bored
on
quick.
anything in particular. Like I can't focus on anything
I
in
understand that,
particular.
dude. I try to do
Yeah.
1,000 things at once every day. Like,
Yeah, dude.
otherwise, if I can't sit still. Like, I have this
Mhm.
issue where, like, I can't just sit in a room, watch TV. Like, I can't
Yeah.
do it. I
Yeah.
just get really like I'll get on my phone or like
Yeah.
get on my computer or do anything else but watch what I intended to watch. And like
Yeah.
it's just because I can't sit still.
Yeah.
Like I'm literally can't invest in a TV show. Like I just can't be fucked. Like I got other
Yeah.
things I want to be doing, and I just the entire time I'm watching it, I'm thinking about other things I want to do. So
Yeah.
it's like a waste of time. So everyone always says watch this TV show, and I say I'll put it on the list. The list
Yeah.
is fucking
Yeah.
long. Okay, the list is
Yeah,
about as
dude.
long as this table. Like
Dude.
I don't intend like I intend on watching it one day, but it won't be anytime
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah.
I just can't be
Yeah,
bothered.
I feel the same way. My list of things I need to watch and people I need to check out and all that kind of stuff, it's getting very long and I
Yeah,
can't keep up with it. But like, I mean, I'll get there one day. That's what I always say. I'll get there one day. One day I'll watch it and I'll let you know when I've watched it.
100%.
But
The other
yeah.
thing I want to ask you, when it comes to like the McDonald's thing and stuff, like you
Hmm.
you've obviously been working there a very long time since you were younger and stuff. Before that, like high school and then working through to this sort of job and stuff. How did you get into that kind of stuff, and where was your head at originally?
So like McDonald's or like just in general,
Just
like
in general,
everything.
like
Yeah.
just a bit of background, I guess.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I mean, like I guess when I was like I think the first time I realized I want to do something like content or art or whatever you want to call it. Like I knew I wanted to get into something creative when I was like 5 or 6 years old. It was pretty
Hmm.
early on. I was like, I remember I was like in year 1 or year 2, and we had like an art class, and we were doing some like drawing and painting and just painting on like with paintbrushes and shit. And I was like,
Yeah.
dude, this is like dope. Like I want to be an artist and stuff like that. And then like growing up a little bit later after that, I was probably like in year 5 or year 6. I was like, I'm going to be an animator. Like, I'm going to be animating stuff. And I was like super into like Walt Disney and all the
Hmm.
old like Looney Tunes and like all the old Warner Brothers stuff and like Tom and Jerry and all these animated stuff, right? And I was like, okay, I'm going to be an animator. And then like getting into high school, I was like, okay, dude, my artwork is trash. I am not going to be an animator. So I realized like I was like, okay, so I think I might get into like film and stuff like that. So like I joined like the film club at like in high school and stuff, and I was doing pretty well in that. Like I was like, okay, I'm gonna be like a director, and I did a couple of short films in high school, and I remember there was like a little film festival that we had at the in Paddington. There was like a thing called the Chevelle
Hmm.
Cinema, there was like a thing called V Fest, and
Yep.
I had one of my like one of my short films on the big screen and stuff, and there was like 200 people there, and I remember hearing like 200 people laughing at like a cringy joke that like and stuff like that. I was like, holy shit, like this is dope, like this is sick. And I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. Like I want to direct, I want to write, I want to produce feature films. Like, and to this day, like that's kind of like what my main goal in life is. Like
Yeah.
I want to create my own production company where we write, direct, and produce feature films and TV shows and stuff like that. That's kind of like the goal. Who knows how long it's going to be, right?
Gotta have goals,
But
man.
for the long and I went to like film school for that. Like I remember like during like HSC in like year 12, like the final school year, and I was like, okay, I went to this school called JMC Academy,
Hmm.
um which was an interesting experience. I got early entry into it, so like I didn't have to worry about my HSC marks or anything like that because I was doing like a Cert 3 in film and television
Hmm.
while I was at school. Like the film club was kind of like part of like a TAFE course kind of thing,
Yep.
which was really dope. And they told me basically like you're got early entry into the school because you already got your Cert 3. You don't have to worry about your HSC marks. I was like, sweet, I don't have to worry about my
Pressure's
HSC marks.
off.
So yeah,
Yeah.
pressure's off. I can just go hang out with my friends and like skip maths and skip all these classes. Like no worries, all good. Um, so I got into the school, and like what I started to notice is like the stuff that I learned while I was at JMC, a lot of that stuff that I learned there was stuff that I already learned when I was at my Cert 3, like in my like Cert 3 media class that I was
Right.
doing at TAFE. And I was like, dude, like a lot of this stuff I already know. Like what's happening? Like and like the school itself was very unorganized, and there was a lot of problems with the school. Um, and I wasn't I mean, to be fair, I was like 18, 19 years old. I was a little bit cocky, and I was getting a couple of gigs here and there, like, shoot a music video and do an advertisement promo and stuff like that. Like little things here and there that I started getting coming my way, and I was like, hell yeah, like I don't need no film school. Like things are happening for me. Like so
Yeah.
I got my diploma in film and television, and I was on my way to get my bachelor. And because of all these gigs that was coming my way, I was like, okay, I'm gonna drop out. Like things are happening, let's go. And the gigs started to slow down a little bit. And next thing you know, I'm like continuing to work at McDonald's full time. And there was this brief like stage. When I say brief, I mean like 5 or 6 years where all I was doing at that point was just working at McDonald's like, 5 days a week, 40, 40, 50 hours a week at McDonald's. And
Mm.
a little bit of a, like what's going on, like what am I doing kind of thing. And it wasn't up until like the past 6 months, like when I decided, you know what, like I'm gonna try this whole streaming thing out. I went live and, I had at first it was just me and one of my mates that was like in my stream.
Yeah.
And, it kind of grew from there. Like I had 2 people and then I had 3 people and 4 people and so on and so forth. And I realized like it kind of clicked for a second. I was like, because for a while I was trying to find a job as a production assistant in the film industry. I was like, okay, like the basic job that you can get in the film industry is a production assistant, which is essentially someone who runs around grabbing shit for people. So like, hey, you come grab me the script, and you're like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna grab you the script. Here you go. There's your script. And grab me a coffee. And you're like, okay, here's your coffee. And that's the kind of job I was looking for. But even a job like that required so much like there was so much requirements. Like you had to have several years of experience, and you had to have
Yeah.
this, and you had to have that. And I was like, dude, it's a free intern job, and it's still got so many requirements, and it's such a like contested. It's such a
Crazy industry, huh?
crazy industry. I was like, "Oh, fuck, I can't even get a job like that." Like, you know what I mean? Like, I have to know someone that knows someone that knows someone that I can get a job on one of
Yeah.
these things. So, eventually, I don't know. Like, I just randomly went live, and all this stuff started happening, and then it clicked. I was like, hold on a sec. Like, I'm starting to build this community. Like, all of a sudden, all these people are like, a couple of people are watching me, and we've got this Discord thing happening, and like, I'm creating this community, and I can start posting stuff online, and people will be watching, and then eventually we can grow, and then eventually I can create this thing that I've always dreamed about creating.
Yeah.
um Obviously these are like far-fetched goals, but I can achieve the same goals that I want to achieve instead of becoming a production assistant and becoming friends with some producer or director on the film set, and then going that way like through the sort of
Grinding through.
mainstream,
Yeah.
the mainstream sort of way. I can do it, but like in a more sort of like modern way where like,
Mm.
you build your community, and if things go well, you can hire like an editor, you can hire like a manager, you can hire like this person or that person, and then build your way up like that way. And that seems like more like of a realistic goal, as opposed to like run around grabbing scripts and coffees and
Yeah.
batteries and stuff like that. Like for the first time in a very long time, like I see a clear vision. I'm like, okay, hold on, like we can actually like achieve something here. Like there's something we could do here.
I love that, dude. You know, the thing is too, I have mates who work in that industry when it comes to TV and production, and like they spend years and years and years doing shit jobs in order to get good ones. Like it's one of those industries that they want you to have your stripes before you can drink your coffee. Do you know what I mean? Like it is a
Yeah,
very, very elongated sort of situation when it comes to that. Like one of my mates, he is the TV producer at the ABC, right? And to
hmm,
get there, he started in journalism. So like he
yeah,
started in journalism and he worked his way into the newsroom, and then he became the producer of the newsroom. So it's kind of like it was a long process, like a very long process. He's been doing that for like what? Well, I've known him since he was 7 years old. He's been doing it since he left high school. So it's like we're both the same age. So you can imagine that's what, like, 15 years of just grinding through the industry in order to get a good job. So like
yeah,
that's wild. You know what I mean? And he did similar courses to you in that. So that's why I mentioned it. But he also did all these bachelors in journalism as well. So it was what. And the crazy part about it is it put him over the top in a different way. So I I understand what you mean when it comes to that industry. Now, it's interesting that you say that, like, you're into the artistic side of things in high school. Now, I know a lot of people who, or a lot, I'll talk from personal experience. I was never an artistic person in any shape or form. Like, I don't have an artistic brain at all. Like, I can't draw. I can't write. I can't envision things when it comes to film and telly. Nothing like that. You have the artistic side of your brain, something fierce. Whereas me, I was always someone who was really interested in literacy, right? Mathematics is not my thing either, but literacy was more my thing, like reading, learning on, like, I have this thing where I can remember things when I read them. So, like, I have sort of like a photographic memory when it comes to dates and stuff like that. So, like, I'll always be someone who will always like read things about history and learn about that. Like, I did 5 units of history in my HSC. Like, I was obsessed with that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So it's the complete opposite in some regards to what you were doing, because you were just like, you're trying to go down the avenue of, like, music and art and all this kind of stuff, and I'm just like the opposite. Like, you know what I mean? So I understand, like, but in on the subjects I was learning, I was never going to find a job. You know what I mean? There's no job. There's no jobs in archaeology. Like, it's not a thing. You know what I mean? There's no jobs in historians and stuff like that. That's not a thing. Like, it used to be, but it's not anymore. Like, with the internet, no, that's not. You don't get into jobs like that anymore. And it's always funny, but you say that you need to at least, X amount of years experience to get a job, right? How do you get that experience? That's the wild part about it. It's like, you're willing to do a job that doesn't pay.
Yeah.
In order to get experience to do a job that does pay. You can't get the job that doesn't pay because you don't have the experience to get it, which is just fucked. Like, that is the world we live in. It is weird, right? Like, that is the case. I always find that silly. So, like, when I first started working, I was like, what am I going to do? Like, I did so many different jobs, and I finally settled on, like, a trade, because I was like, well, if I do a trade, it'll be a backup to if I decide to do something else. And I end up being in the trade for 14 years. So I'm still in the trade now. So it's like that was my backup job, and I just ended up doing that job because it was like something I just ended up doing anyway. So that's it's weird how things work out. But I know that McDonald's, like, teaches you good, like, good work ethic, right? So, like, it's a good structured environment for working. Did you move up in the ranks sort of situation the last 10 years, or?
Yeah. Like, I've grown in the ranks at McDonald's, yeah, for sure. But just to add on to what you were saying about that, the best line that I say in terms of what you were saying was, you need experience to get experience, but how do you get that experience if you need the experience? That's kind of like my go-to line, right? Like,
Got to push your way in, right?
yeah, you need experience to get experience, but how do you get experience to get experience? Like, it's just a
It's a
tough.
head fuck.
It's a head fuck. It really is, like, 100%. But, like, in terms of the Macca's thing, like, yeah. So, like, I've been there for 10 years. So, like, for the first, like, 5 or 6 years, like, I just kind of, you know, growing up from, like, 15 years old up until I was like 18, 19, 20. I was like, whatever, it's just McDonald's. It's no big deal. Like, I'm just here just to clock in, clock out kind of thing. And then after, like, a little while, I kind of, like, started taking it a little bit more seriously. Like, I wasn't I messed around a lot. Like, like, I could have I've been almost fired multiple times at that job. Many a times. Like, there were many stories. I've dislocated my shoulder at that job. I've cut my finger multiple times, like, on that job. Like, I've caused a whole bunch of ruckus on that job. But somehow, like, over the years, I ended up getting into management, and as of recent, like, I was sort of like the HR kind of guy. So, like, I was doing the hiring, the firing, the promoting, the rostering, like, all the HR type of stuff.
Yeah.
That was kind of my responsibility. So, like, there was a lot of pressure there. Like, so, like, I had to do, like, stuff like the projections, and, like, figure out, like, how like what the sales are gonna be like for this week, and how many people we need to be rostered on for Monday and Tuesday, and
Yeah.
who's gonna become the next crew trainer, who's going to become the next manager, who's going to become, like, how many people do we need to hire until summer comes around, and things like that, right? So, like, there was a lot of pressure there. And the problem with that kind of job that I had was like in terms of McDonald's at least, like I wasn't getting well, for starters, I wasn't getting the recognition that I felt like I deserved. But also like the more important aspect of things was I wasn't getting like paid for like the job that I was getting paid for. So it
Yeah.
felt a little bit
Promoted without a wage rise sort of
yeah,
situation.
exactly. Yeah. So like not only was there no like sort of pat on the back like good job you're doing good stuff, but like I wasn't even getting like a bonus or anything out of it either. So that was kind of like the sort of not the like sort of like the straw that broke the camel's back where I was like, you know what, like I think we're done here at this point. Like,
Yeah.
I think, it's time to wrap things up. And like especially like when with COVID and everything, like COVID had a massive impact on like a lot of industries, not only the hospitality, like retail and a bunch of other industries got impacted by
Mm.
COVID and being understaffed and also the kind of customers that you have to deal with when
Oh
it comes
yeah.
to hospitality and
The
doing the
stress
late
that
night
goes with
shifts
it.
and yeah, exactly. And it's like, in terms of like how much you get paid for like something like that, it's kind of like I don't know. It's not really
It doesn't
in
seem
my
worth
in
it.
my eyes, it just didn't seem like it wasn't really worth it. So um I was intending on quitting for a while,
Hmm.
but and like a lot of my friends and a lot of my coworkers and stuff were just basically convincing me just like, look, you've got like you're at 9 years right now. Just wait another year. Like you'll get your long service leave. You'll get a couple of months of just full on paid annual leave. Just wait it out. I was like, okay, I'll wait it. I'll wait it. I'll wait it. And I mean, we've reached to the point now where like 27th of January is my last shift. So it's
Wow.
like 7 days. It's quite literally 7 days away. So um, after that, I'm a free man. I'm no longer a slave to the clowns. So um,
I love that.
I'm really excited to like what's going to be happening from here on out.
Fuck
So
yeah. Oh well, look, dude. I wish you the
yeah.
best. Whatever you decide to do. Obviously, with the Twitch thing, I hope that you achieve all your goals. Um, just before we continue, just a quick notice in the chat. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Grumpy, for coming in and saying hello. Shucks, I hope you're well, bro. Good to see you. Dory, thank you for the lurk. Lilac, good to see you as well. And Koshi, I believe. And Jark jumped in for his lunch break. I appreciate it, guys. Guys, again, if you do miss the stream, I will put in the VOD into our YouTube Zilla Patch podcast section, and you'll be able to catch it, the rest of it there. Good to see you, Shucks. Appreciate you coming in. So, in continuing, dude, so when I see you on stream a lot, so I'll come and watch you and stuff and I'll hang out with you.
Hmm.
And I like that you do different things. Like, I saw you with your VOD when you went down, sorry, not with your VOD, with your live sort of vlog thing when you went to Melbourne.
Yeah, that's
So,
right. Yeah.
like, that was different, right? And that's, dude, I really enjoyed that. I hung out with you for like a while there because it was just a little bit of fun. Like, I was watching and stuff, and then I was like, oh, I better say hello, like, you know what I mean? Like, and like, you guys got up to some bit of mischief. Like from the arcade
Yeah.
to the park to whatever you were doing, which was fucking
Yeah.
cool, right? Like I had a really good time
Yeah.
watching that. And that was a vibe. Like the other and that when you say that you were interested in film and stuff, right? I feel like that is a very good thing that you could touch more on when it comes to like IRL stuff. Have you thought
Yeah.
about that kind of thing or?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I've definitely thought about that more. It's definitely things that IRL stream turned out a lot better than I expected it to turn out.
Yeah,
Um, because the first okay, so like normally, I mean, I'm sure you're well aware, like, you've got your computer, you got your OBS or Streamlabs, whatever you use, you go
yeah.
live, you're on your computer, you streaming, right? But the first time I ever went live on my phone was I did a cooking stream. So, I did a cooking stream and I did it off my phone, and that didn't go too. I mean, it went well, like in terms of like overall, like everything went well, but in terms of technicalities and stuff, it didn't go too well. So I
Hmm.
was a little bit anxious in terms of like going IRL in Melbourne and seeing how that turns out. But that IRL stream in Melbourne turned out really well, and I was really surprised at how things turned out, like in terms of like on the technical aspect of things, like for the most part, everything seemed to go well. And I remember like checking back on the VOD and everything, and it seemed to be doing all right. And I was really happy with how that went. And that was my first time doing an IRL stream, like in the middle of Melbourne. And it was kind of one of those things where it was like chat was like fully interactive. I'm like, where should we go now? And then someone in the chat was like, go to a park. And we're like, all right, well, we're heading to a park now. And we like hopped on a tram and we went to like the local park and we chilled in the park for like an hour. And like, we had another stream in the background, Lucas Sushi, who he was the main reason why I went to Melbourne, because I rated him once upon a time, and next thing you know, I'm in Melbourne with him and hanging out with him, and
Wild, hey.
he's a good mate of mine now. Like,
That's
it was
cool,
someone
hey.
I
That
just met.
happens.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. Like, he literally, I went to Melbourne because he was like, "Yo, like, we should do a collab and stuff like that." And we're like, we've been talking for a couple of months and stuff. I was like, "All right, let's do a collab." And I made it a sub goal as a joke. I was like, "Yeah, if we hit like, I don't know, 100 subs, 150 subs, like we'll go to Melbourne." And then like in a week or two, we hit it. I was like, "O- Okay, fuck, like
Guess we're
okay,
going to
I guess we're going to
Melbourne.
Melbourne now." And like we went to Melbourne, and like Luca and I, we like organized some ideas. Like we're going to do a cooking stream while we're there, and like for every sub, like someone in the background was going to throw an egg at us, and if like at 5 subs, like we got to spin the wheel, and we got to eat a lemon, or we got to eat this, or we got to do it this or do that. And like it did pay off. Like it worked out really well. Um,
That's cool.
and it's given me the motivation to do something like even more than that. Like, I haven't, I don't, I've spoken about it on stream a little bit, but I haven't like published it, like publicly announced it. But I may as well do it now. This is, Rugged Zilla, like, first breaking news. Um, I intend on doing a Gold Coast trip as my next sub goal, where we do an IRL stream where we go to Movie World and we go to like SeaWorld and stuff like that. So I think that's my
That's
next
cool.
big plan. So I'm thinking like end of February or like early March or something like that, where we just me and Luca and like maybe a few other, because I know a few other streamers that I've since like
Become
had the
mates
pleasure to
with, yeah.
meet and stuff that live in Queensland, and we might be meeting up in Queensland and going to like or
That's awesome.
I've never been to Queensland before, so like it's a
Really?
first experience. Yeah, I've never been to Queensland before,
Dude, I lived
so
in
like
Queensland.
I've literally never been
Wild.
on any of these roller coaster trips or any of these things,
Really?
and yeah,
That's
I've
awesome.
literally never done any of this, so
You've
it'll
lived
be
a
like a
very
first.
sheltered life.
Yeah, yeah, dude. So like it'll be like a first experience for me, and at the same time, it'll be like an experience for like everyone else. If I do an IRL stream and I, hop on like
That's
I
awesome.
don't know what they have in movie world and stuff, but like IRL stream there, I think that would be a pretty cool idea. So that's something that I had, sitting in the back of my mind for a little bit that I
Yeah.
think will be cool to, get
Yeah.
going
Yeah, I
for
lived on
sure.
the Gold Coast for 3 years. This is a nice place. It is a nice place. It's very
Yeah.
cheap in comparison to Sydney, but everything is
Yeah.
so, except Melbourne.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you've obviously experienced that as well, being Sydney sider. Like
Yeah.
the amount of
100%.
money we pay for things in this city is phenomenally
Yeah.
ridiculous. Um, yeah, dude. I believe that, like, without doxing myself or without you doxing your stuff, I believe we're pretty
Yeah.
close to each other. So it's
Yeah.
not exactly far, but yeah, you understand what it's like to live in Sydney when it comes to money and
100%.
expenses
Yeah.
and just general. Like, I think a coffee now is like $5.20 or some shit. Like,
Yeah.
it's not
Something
even
like that.
under
Yeah.
$5. Like,
Yeah.
that's fucking ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
and
I
then
was
yeah,
because like I was looking, because like I was looking at like places to go for like a little holiday, like not too far from here. Like I was
yeah,
looking further up north and stuff like Central Coast, or like even further up like Nelson Bay, like Port Macquarie type area. And I
yeah.
was
I
like
get you.
looking at like holiday places to to book for like a couple of days and stuff. And I'm like looking at those places. I'm like, okay, that's a little pricey. Let me and then I think it was my sister or someone who brought it up. Is like, let's look at like other states and stuff. I look at the Gold Coast. I'm like, Jesus, like it's like half the price for like a 5-star hotel,
Yeah,
whereas like you can get a shitty motel in like Central Coast for like double the price. Like,
yeah. It's
how
crazy.
does this how does this make any sense? I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm going to the Gold Coast then, because it's not only is it cheaper, but it's also going to be more luxurious and better, and it's also going to be like, in terms of the Twitch and like content creation aspect, it's going to be like a lot more better content as well, like
Hmm.
as opposed to like going fishing or something
Yeah, that's
as
the
a
crazy part that I found, right, is when I when I was going to move up there, so I got a job offer up there, and I would go up there for work, right? So I was like, okay. And then I thought to myself, I always thought prior to me actually going there, I thought to myself, the Gold Coast, okay, I know the living expenses are cheaper, so the wages must be less, right? Wrong. The wages were more. So I got paid in my industry anyway. So I got paid more money than I was getting here to live for half as much and within walking distance. So like it was, but the thing is, right, you think to yourself, okay, Adam, how much money did you save? Now this is the opposite, right? So when you live on the Gold Coast, all you do is go out and get fucked up and party, right? So there was literally no money saving whatsoever, especially because I've always lived by myself. And I moved up there by myself, and I lived there by myself and all that. And I've always lived by myself. And in Sydney, I lived by myself. When you're in your mid-20s, right, and you're making a certain amount of money, which is a good amount of money to make, and you're living on the Gold Coast within walking distance to Surfers Paradise, you do not save money, ever, okay? And not only that, I'm single, right? So I'm literally saving $0. So I'm taking my entire paycheck on a Thursday and going to Surfers Paradise, and then coming home at 7 a.m. in the morning, and then going back to work and working for more money. Like, so there was literally not a dime I saved while I lived there. So I actually moved back. One of the reasons I moved back was because I had to actually get some structure back into my life. Because I literally, all I did, I was just in this cycle of getting fucked up, basically. I just spent like, I would go to work, I go to the pub. I go to work, I go to the pub. Like, it was a cycle of money. Like, I take my money, I give it to the people of the pub. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was fucking wild. You understand, like, in Queensland, there's no lockout laws in Queensland.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that you can walk to anywhere you want to go at any time of day. So it could be 3, 4 a.m. in the morning, they'll let you into a nightclub. It's fucking crazy. And you'll be shit-faced. Like, to the point where you're like, using the bouncer to hold you up. And he's like, yeah, you good? In you go. He's like, cheers, mate. Like, cheers, mate. It's fucking ridiculous, bro. And they're like, you're going to go to Sydney, right? It's the complete opposite, right? No one ever goes out because, one, it's too expensive. Two, you can't go anywhere after midnight because it's dead. Or you get locked out. And three, if a bouncer sees you even fucking trip on something and you're a designated driver, you're fucking out of there. Like, there is no chance, bro. It's wild. The culture difference is insane. So that's what I found when I lived on the Gold Coast. So it's both a gift because obviously it's cheaper living expenses, but it's also a curse because it's way more fun. So you gotta balance it up.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so I've always been like so even before I even started doing all the streaming stuff and everything like that, like I intended on going overseas and traveling and everything like that. So like in 2020, I had plans. Like in June of 2020, I had plans on like traveling overseas and stuff like that. So I was planning on going to like Israel first because I have family in Israel and stuff, and then I was gonna go to like um Azerbaijan where my mom's from, and then I was gonna go to like Russia and then Ukraine where my dad's from, and I was gonna go traveling all over all over like Europe, right? Like I was gonna go to Italy, Spain, Portugal, France, Germany.
And obviously that fell through.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone has heard, but there was this little virus that kind of went around that kind of screwed plans up. But yeah. So my big thing, and that's always going to continue to be my thing. Like I've always wanted to, and that's always going to be one of my big goals is like going to different countries and like experiencing the culture in different countries. Because I just want to experience different like things. Like we were talking about, like, for example, like even on a interstate sort of thing, like going to Queensland and experiencing like not being in lockdown, not being in having these like restrictions in terms of like, not being allowed to enter a pub at like 12 o'clock and 12 o'clock, or like not being able to like order like a shot after 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning or something like that, like
crazy,
things
man.
like even little things like that when you go from like New South Wales to Queensland or something like that. But then going to like a whole completely another different country where like they have different legalities and different culture and history and shit like that. Like things like that has always been like a huge fascination of mine, and I want to like experience that stuff like that. So like I don't know. It's just a huge fascination that I have. Like where I just want to go to different countries, especially like countries like I can at least speak the language, like because I can speak Russian. My family and all that kind of stuff came from like the USSR and
Mhm.
stuff like that. So like they can speak Russian, so I can speak a bit of Russian as well. So I can, at least be able to talk in, at least in Russia or Ukraine or something like that, where I can
Yeah.
actually, interact. But even going to other countries as well and just being like able to like live there for like even if it's a couple of weeks or a month or so, or like just to be able to yeah, experience that culture and see the history and like go to all the, touristy areas and just be like, yo, I've been there, like it's dope, you know?
It's a real experience. Like the last trip I went on was to America, and like
Yeah.
all the places I went to, and like you said, with like the whole Queensland, New South Wales thing, where it's different with that kind of stuff. I was at a bar in Texas at 5 a.m. drunk, and I was hungry, and the lady made me pizza behind the bar. Like that kind of thing doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's not real. Like she owned the bar.
Yeah.
She was just like, "Do you want a pizza?" I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "I'll make you a slice." I'm like, "I'm gonna have one anyway, so I'll make you one." I was just like, so instead of just saying "get the fuck out" and good
Yeah.
luck with you, she was like, "I'll give you a piece of pizza so you can sober up a bit before you walk back to the hotel." I was just like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, and that kind of thing
Yeah.
in Australia, right?
Yeah.
5 a.m. comes around in Australia, you're already home,
Yeah.
or you're on the street trying to get a cab, or you're picking a fight with
Yeah.
someone. Like, it doesn't exist. Like, do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, that's just fucking crazy to me. So that blew me away. That culture sort of situation. That's why I really
Yeah.
want to move to America, because I want to experience that all the time. Because that kind
Yeah.
of thing, that's culture. Like,
Mm.
uh, as much as I love Australia, I just I don't know. I just don't. I feel like sometimes for me, I don't really fit in. Like when it comes to the culture of Australia, like I'm
Mm.
not. It's just it's a different thing. You know what I mean? But when I was in
Yeah.
America, man, everything just seemed like home to me. Like I really enjoyed it, and I really
Mm.
in a lot of places I went to, I experienced things. I experienced some types of kindness that I've never fucking seen in people in Australia. I'll be honest with you. Like it's a very interesting experience. I I like how you said, like, obviously say your family is from different countries and stuff like that. Like my father's family, like ancestry is Polish, right? And obviously
Mm.
we come from a long line of Jews, and as you do as well, I believe.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's a different culture again. So when I was growing up, we would do everything. So because obviously my father's side we would do Passover, Hanukkah, all the Jewish holidays, and my mother's side we do all the Christian holidays. So it'd be Christmas and Easter, and none of us had bar mitzvahs or anything. But it was obviously because my mother is not Jewish. But we had so many like different things going on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was
For
cool.
sure.
It was really cool. And so when you say you speak Russian, right?
Yeah.
So did you learn that from your family, or did you grow up with that, or how did that work? Because yeah,
Yes. So I mean, so both sides of my family. So it's an interesting story because like technically I'm not Russian. I'm like half Ukrainian, half Azerbaijani.
right,
But because back then it was all part of the USSR, like they all spoke Russian in those countries and stuff like that. So it's just easy to tell people like I'm Russian. Um,
mm,
but in that sense, like they both. My dad, for example, he was born in Ukraine in Odessa, which is a nice little like east, sort of like a coast, like next to the beach. Very nice vibes. I really want to go there. Um, but they spoke Russian there, and they had to escape the sort of communist sort of thing because a little fun story is my grandpa, my dad's dad, he he was a tailor, so he would, make clothes and stuff. But being in communist Russia, you couldn't actually make more money than you were allowed to make. So, but he being, he wanted to make some more money. So what he would do, he would spend most of his days traveling, 2 hours north, 2 hours south, 2 hours east, and stuff like that. And he would go to the post office and drop off some packages there. From my understanding, there was nothing in those packages, extra stuff in those packages. Allegedly, I don't know.
yeah,
That's from my understanding. but like he would be traveling and doing all this sketchy shit where he was earning more money and stuff. And what happened is he got someone told him that the KGB was after him, and 3 days after they left, after they escaped, they moved from Odessa in Ukraine and they went to Italy. 3 days after, their apartment in the Ukraine got raided by the KGB,
Oh
which
wow.
was like super interesting to even hear about. Like when I heard this story, I was like, I wouldn't even be here right now. Like if they just spent an extra 3 days in Ukraine. Like, um, but like, yeah. So, and my mom was from Azerbaijan in Baku. Like, so yeah, she ended up moving from there to Israel, and from Israel she moved to Australia. And my dad, when he was about 15 or 16, he went to like a high school in very local to us. I'm sure you know where it is. I'm not gonna say it, but um,
Yeah.
you know, and yeah, they both grew up and they met up here, and they both spoke Russian as I was growing up. So like, I grew up in a very sort of Russian household where they were talking Russian to each other, and I was talking Russian with them. And when I went to like kindergarten, and primary school and stuff, I was talking English with them. But like, I grew up in a very much sort of like Russian household, so that's kind of how I learned to speak Russian. And I was very, I think my parents purposely put me in a school where they had Russian language as a subject.
Right.
So like, when you were in primary school and stuff, they had Italian and they had like French, or they had,
Yeah.
whatever language it was. But though in my situation, there was a Russian class that you could take. So I learned Russian there as well. So, and I grew up with my grandma there as well. She's always been with us. So, I was constantly talking to her in Russian as well. So like,
It's
it's
cool.
funny because like, if I talk to a fellow Russian person and I talk to them in Russian, immediately the first question they ask you is, "Whereabouts are you from?" Because like, they can tell I have some sort of accent. Like, they can understand everything I say, but they can sense some sort of accent that's not like, authentic sort of like Russian accent.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, they can understand what I say, and I can read I can understand what they say. I can read the language, I can understand it, and so on and so forth. So
I really envy people who
yeah,
can speak more than one language. I think it's like being bilingual is like one of the greatest things you can do. I think it's something that you've got to learn early too. So like I feel like a lot of
yeah,
people that take on languages later in life is a lot harder. Like it's a lot harder to learn those languages, but if you grow up speaking in a bilingual house, that is probably you have the greatest advantage over other people. I really believe that. Like my great grandfather who I met, who was the person who moved here from Poland, who emigrated here from Poland, he spoke Yiddish, right? I understand a word
mm,
he said. Like I wish I could. I wish I
yeah,
could, but I couldn't. I honestly like I like they would read. He would read things in Hebrew and just all sorts of stuff like that, and it's just like it was just gibberish to me. Like I was like, and I try to appreciate it, but as a kid, I was just kind of like really confused by it. It was just like
yeah,
I don't know what he's saying, and he'd say things, and he'd like, and you understand like when a Jewish man speaks in Yiddish, it is really hard to understand. Like there's a lot of phlegm going all over the place,
yeah,
and
yeah,
he's
yeah,
like, and he's speaking, and I'm just like, I don't know what's going on, but it's terrifying. I was just like, but
yeah,
it's interesting, right? So like, I
yeah,
I was in interesting languages in school and stuff. So I did German and French and stuff in school, but like those were languages that like if you don't use them all the time, you forget them pretty quick. Like it's not really languages like if you're not using it like on a day to day basis, you kind
mm,
of don't retain it much. So I don't really feel like I retained a lot of it, but I would have liked to learn a language earlier in life. That would have been a better. I think it's just better for your brain,
yeah.
don't you think? Like it kind of makes you think about things differently.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like nowadays, I don't really use the Russian language as much as I wish I could,
Yeah,
because I mean, actually have to give a little props to like streaming on Twitch, because like I've got a little cheeky redeem, like a Russian accent redeem. I'm sure you've heard it every
I've
every
seen
now
it.
and again.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But like every now and again, I'll start spitting some Russian words and stuff like that. So that helps a little bit in sense
Hmm.
of like keeping that sort of like
That's a content
Russian
thing. That's
bilingual.
unique.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
exactly. But in terms of the Yiddish thing, like my grandpa, like also like I can relate to that because my grandpa like speaks fluent Yiddish, but like I don't know any single word he says in
Yeah.
Yiddish. I know like a few words every now and again. Like I'm sure everyone knows the word schmuck, like you
Yeah,
being such a
yeah,
schmuck, you know. Another one was gay kaken. I learned that word from a very young age,
yeah. Hmm.
which apparently means like get fucked, but at the same
Ich
but
hachen.
appa but apparently it's dual meaning. So it means like go to sleep, but at the same time it means get fucked. Like it's got like two meanings to it. So like
It's
me and my
greatest
sister whenever
greatest thing ever.
yeah, it's such
It's
a
a
good
gift,
word. Like
really.
I'll never forget that word. Like whenever me and my sister pissed off at each other, we're like, gay cock and like, you know, yeah,
Yeah.
like fuck off.
I love
um
that.
but
That's so good.
I think those are the only words I know in Yiddish. I don't really know much Yiddish, but like I think specifically in terms of Yiddish, I think it's like one of those dying languages that
It
I
is,
think
yeah.
it's a bit unfortunate, but like there's a lot of heritage and history behind it, but it's just yeah, one of
Yeah, I
those
understand
things.
that. Did you ever have to? Obviously, do you sit through like the Jewish holidays and stuff like that? And did you have to go through a bar mitzvah and all that kind of stuff, or you more than just avoided all that?
Yeah, so like I mean, I did have a bar mitzvah and stuff like that. Like my parents did sort of, you know, I got circumcised and I had the bar mitzvah and I did all that kind of stuff. But like they were never really sort of like pushy against it, and they were never like sort of like, let's do this. It's mainly so my grandparents that are like kind of like they'll kind of recruit everyone on the big Passover and the Hanukkah and all that kind of stuff, and they'll be like, "Come on over, like we're celebrating Hanukkah, celebrating." I don't really know much about generally like the Jewish history and stuff. Like I know a little bit here and there,
Yeah,
but like I'm not really a practicing Jew. I don't really know much about it. Like I know a little bit here and there just purely because of,
reading
growing
about
up with
things
it
and yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
reading about things and stuff, and
I
my
was the
parents
same.
telling
Like
me about stuff.
we never really did much of it. Like obviously when we were kids,
Yeah.
we experienced it all, like breaking of the bread and reading
Yeah.
from all the different like passages of Judea and stuff. But for me, like I don't know, like it's good to have different culture in your family because I
Mm.
think it gives you a bigger outlook on things. Like if you're always just celebrating the one thing, it kind of like narrows your perception of the world. Like
Yeah.
if you all you ever did was celebrate Christmas and all you ever did was celebrate Christmas because of presents, like I feel like you have a narrow view on the world. Whereas like if you had celebrated something like Hanukkah, it's just a total different fucking animal. Like it's just
Yeah.
it's not just a meal. It's like an event. Like you know what I mean? Like it's huge. Like it's cool though. I think that's made. I think it makes people like open to different things, like different cultures, especially if you decide to travel. So like if you decide to travel, that will help you immensely. Like say you travel off to like Russia or wherever you go, like say you go Russia or Ukraine or if you go back to like Jerusalem or something like that, back to
Mm.
Israel, you're gonna have a big advantage of others and you're gonna fit in a lot easier than if you were traveling there as someone who doesn't know anything about the culture.
Yeah, for
And I think
sure.
you'll appreciate it a lot more too.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I it's one of those things, right? Like I've always been like super interested in just different cultures and the history and stuff. Like I remember like even while I was still in high school and stuff, like I remember like picking up ancient history and all that and all those subjects just
Great
growing up. Just
subjects. I loved all of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I've been so fascinated about like ancient history and like all that kind of stuff. Um, Going back to like culture and like you talking about like Texas and how that's a vibe. I
Hmm.
think going to like Greece or Italy or something like that would be a vibe as well, at least for me, because they have like siestas where like in the middle of the day they just have a nap
Yeah.
and then they just party in the middle and then they just party all night and they wake up early in the morning and they just continue to have a nap in the middle of the day. Like I feel like that's like a vibe right there. Like
Hmm.
just like waking up early, being productive, doing whatever you have to do with the rest of your day, like getting that shit out of the way, having a little cheeky nap, and then just partying. And then, I feel like that's like a nice, like, I think that's a vibe there. Like,
Well, like the two things on that. First of all, um, you got to be careful with that because that's what killed the Mexicans at the Alamo, right?
yeah,
They were caught napping, and the Texans now own El Paso, right?
Yeah, yeah,
However,
right.
however, the second thing on that is that humans aren't meant to work this many hours.
Yeah,
Okay,
for sure.
like the caveman. All right, let's go back. Let's go back far. Right, the caveman from history we know did not hunt at night. Okay,
Yeah.
hunted during the day, did everything during the day, and at nighttime they take shelter and they sleep. Right,
Hmm.
we live in a 24-hour world right now.
Yeah.
So you'll see like people like right now, like we should be sleeping. But we're awake. We're awake doing this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some people will work overnight or during the day or whatever it might be. But we were never meant to work this many fucking days and this many hours. Because it's just because we live in a world that is now 24 hours. That because like, you know, the basic of basics of living, like when it comes to humans, was can you eat today? You know, can you sleep today? And can you fuck today? That was it. That was it. We're animals, mate. like, you know, it's not, we weren't meant to, like, you know, get out 10,000 emails prior to 9 o'clock. You know, like, you know, take care of 6,000 other people's orders at McDonald's in the next 6 hours. Like, this is not, you're not meant to be this kind of person. This is not how people were supposed to be, to operate, right? But we evolved. But at the same time, the siesta thing makes more sense than you would believe because sleeping obviously recharges your batteries and stuff like that. So it's actually like a real beneficial thing. So like if the world was perfect, we would only work, so the whole world would only work 4 days, limited. But too many people don't want to do that. And then they end up just, you know, it's, people are built different. Like there's people who can function on that kind of stuff and there's people who can't. But like overall, we weren't meant to work this many days. It's wild if you think about that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool though. I mean, so yeah, the culture thing is definitely different. I like I said with the Alamo thing, I know it's a joke, it's funny, but like it's, well, I mean, it wasn't funny all the people who died, but like it's quite funny because the I learned that when I was in Texas, that's why you reminded me of it. When I was at Congress in Texas, I went to the Congress tour, and they taught us all about the storming of the Alamo and like how obviously the Texans went to fight the Mexicans on the border, and the reason the border extended into what is now Texas, but it was Mexico, is because the Mexicans were waiting for the Texans in open field because they used to fight. Obviously, fights like war was planned back then. So like
Right, yeah.
you wouldn't you know, surprise attacks and stuff like that weren't brought in until like, you know, the 20th century. Like most wars prior to that were planned wars. So they'd be like, we're going to meet this army at this place at this time, and we're going to fight it out, and whoever wins wins. Like that's what they used to do, you know, before people developed guns and tanks and shit, right? Whereas like, you know, back then you'd have to reload your musket. Like it was a little bit more difficult. So basically what happened is the Mexicans said, we'll meet you here. And the Texans are like, we'll be there. And for whatever reason, the Texans decided, they were like, look, we're never going to win this war because we don't have enough people or we don't have enough fighters. And they said, let's wait them out. And then as soon as the Mexicans decided to have a siesta, the Texans went in and murdered everyone. Right?
I mean, smart tactic by them.
It is, but like it wasn't fair war, if that makes sense.
Nah.
But war isn't fair. So you know, I think it was kind of genius on the part of the Texans, but like that's the reason that the Mexican border is so far down in Texas is because they took all of that land, because they marched through that army all the way to wherever they decided to make the benchmark, and the Mexicans surrender, and then they said we'll take El Paso. So
that
interesting, right?
dude, shit like that. Like I'm not good with like memorizing stuff like that, but like listening to stories like that is like super fascinating to me. Like there's like this ongoing series on YouTube. I think it's called Borders or something like that.
Yeah.
And the whole general gist of like the series is like what the borders you see around different countries and why those borders even exist is because of like history and like certain wars that occurred, and that's the reason why we have these specific borders for these specific reasons. And how these borders adjusted throughout time and where these borders originally existed versus what happened like in the 18th century versus the 19th century and the 19th century versus the 20th century and how these borders have changed and
Yeah.
so on and so forth. Like stuff like that has always fascinated me.
Yeah.
And specifically for me, ancient history has always fascinated me. Like even like ancient Greece or ancient Rome and stuff like that, and how um developed as a society they were, as opposed to like nowadays. Like it seems like I don't know. You can when you talk about this specific topic, you can get a lot of people like going like down the conspiracy route of
Oh, of
things
course.
and
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and
But that's
stuff
what
like
makes it
that.
interesting.
Yeah, that's what makes it interesting, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But like it's so interesting to see like how advanced of a civilization they were back then versus to like where we are now, and like how they had democracy and they had like all these like conceptual ideas of how to like have a like a society running and stuff like that. Obviously they didn't have like the perfect society, you know what I mean, but like
No such thing.
no such
Yeah,
thing. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And I mean, I would argue that our society and everything is a little bit more improved in comparison to them when they had like slavery and all that kind of stuff and a lot of social issues that they had to deal with. But it's still fascinating to see like all the things that they had as a society back then. And that's like what 2000, 3000 years ago,
Not
like
that long ago.
you know what I mean? Like in
Mm.
comparison to the total history of the world, which is like, oh, at least human civilization, which is like God knows how long, like what, 40,000? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong with that.
It's over
I don't know,
100,000 years.
100,000? Yeah, something like that.
Mm.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane.
The thing is, right, it's just the creation of agriculture in society is what
Mm.
brought about society today. Like
Yeah.
without agriculture and without structured ways of getting out of the whole like hunter gatherer thought
Mm.
process, we'd still be doing that. Like it's the reason Woolworths exists. Like, do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
franchising and all that kind of stuff. That all came from agriculture. Like you
Yeah.
know, as soon as we started farming, we started worrying less about having to go and collect our food and where we were getting it from, and more about other things. So that's where arts came in. That's where literacy came in. That's where all the things like architecture and music and the development of different professions. Like, and then the people like we didn't even start learning about history until we had history to learn about. You got to think about
Yeah.
that too, right? So like the people who first were humans on this planet didn't have history because they would only just got here, right?
Yeah.
And then onwards from there, we went through to the agricultural stage, then into you know the modern age. And in the modern age, they're like, oh, okay, we have history, we can learn about it now. You know what I mean? So there's always questions about everything because that's what is interesting, and that's humanity. Like we all, it's very deep to say, right? It's just a weird concept,
Yeah.
right? But it's true. Like you know, so we both, but it's both. It both. The thing is with humans is right. No sole human is the same. That's another reason why doing podcasts is so interesting, is because you learn about things about different people's experiences. Because no one person on this planet is the same as another. So like they don't look the same, they don't act the same, they don't have the same experiences. Even if they put it this way, even if they're twins and they look the same, they still have different life experiences. So they could be totally different people. You know what I mean? So getting people on every other day and I talk to them and we have conversations and learn about things, it gives me, I think it not only does it broaden this community as a whole, because obviously we get to know new people, but it also gives me more knowledge and perception on other things. So like, it actually makes me a better person as well, learning about other people. Like I think it's a really good concept, and I saw that you have been doing that a little bit as well with podcasting and stuff. Dude, it's a great avenue to go down. If you do what I do, and like every day when I go to work, I listen to podcasts every single day. It'll be a different podcast or a different topic every other day, but it keeps my brain ticking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The more knowledge you have in this world, they say knowledge is power. I know it's the most ridiculous thing everyone said. We hear it all the time, you know? It's fucking true, okay? Because you know what? The more you learn in your life and the more experiences you have, it grows you as a person. And then you won't make those same mistakes twice, or you won't have to learn those same things twice because you'll remember them because they're important. It's true.
Yeah.
I get on tangents sometimes and I just start talking shit, but you know, that's
No,
what they
dude.
love.
Listen, I love these tangents. I love these kind of tangents because like I like this kind of shit. Like I don't want to sound like a fucking like stoner dude that's like, yeah, man, like yeah, dude, like like. But like stuff like this is like super fascinating to me. Like I love like talking about these things. Like I could go down like conspiracy theories and little rabbit holes like that, but I mean I don't think that's kind of the vibe. But like
Maybe another
um
podcast. Or
maybe another podcast,
we could
maybe
do
another time.
Schmaltzy and
Yeah.
Rugged's conspiracy podcast.
Yeah.
Just
I
talking about
mean like
conspiracy theories and fucking aliens for fucking
yeah,
2
man, the
hours.
fucking pyramids. Like
Yeah,
who
the
built
fucking
those? Am I right?
pyramids.
Like
I'll have to get some serious shit for that. I'll make sure to chomp down some mushrooms before we have that conversation.
dude.
That'd be fucking wild. Oh, I get
Oh
it, dude.
man.
I get it. I get it. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Look, dude, it has been a fucking pleasure having you on
Yeah,
and
man.
just chatting, bro. It's been nice. I knew we were gonna have a good conversation because like I feel like we're very similar. Like and
Yeah.
we have very similar interests and stuff. So that's why I always when I first started having you on, I was like, I'm a fucking genius. Because I enjoyed talking to you on your stream as it is, and I feel like that's reciprocated with you as well. So I think we connect on a really good level. I'm really interested to see where your channel goes and what you do with it, whatever it might be, whether it be your first playthroughs of games, whether it be your vlogs, or whether it be something entirely different. I'm excited to see it. Yeah, I mean, before you go, let everyone know what's on the schedule for the next couple of weeks or whatever, and also sell yourself to the chat and the community, and so we can come over and watch.
Yeah. Before I sell myself out, there is a couple of things I want to touch on. I want to quickly preface on the fact like how I met Adam and how I met Rugged at Zilla, the man, the myth, the legend himself.
Yeah,
Because I don't think we even touched on that
we did
because the way
not.
we met and everything like that. Because I feel like that's a pretty interesting story as well.
All right, go on.
It was like a week. It was honestly, it was probably. I was looking at this on my stream the other day. It was probably like 2 weeks into my stream or something like that, where I can't remember. I think you were doing some sort of like community night type of thing where like you would ask the chat like, oh, who's a cool streamer that we should check out, blah blah blah, things like that. And I think someone in your chat was like, oh, you should check out. Back then, I wasn't Schmuelzy. I was like, I went by a different Twitch handle. It was like S
Mm-hmm.
Rosenthal or something like that.
I remember.
And I remember because it was the first time I never been raided before. I never like I had maybe like less than 50 followers. Like I don't even think I was an affiliate. No, I just hit affiliate. I remember because I got a couple of gifted. It was my first time where I got gifted subs and I got
Yeah.
like all this stuff happening to me. And like it wasn't a raid, it wasn't anything like that. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it was like I remember looking back then at my stats. And I remember it was like triple, quadruple my stats, viewership, the sub. Like it was just one of those like spikes where it just went skyrocketing. And I was like, oh my god, like this is insane. Like I didn't know what was happening. I was like, I haven't been rated. What's happening? And it was one of those things where I was like, oh my god, like this is insane. And like I pop into your streams every now and again. I was lurking and stuff like that. And I think it wasn't until like maybe I don't know a couple of months ago or something where like I decided to be like, hey, I'm here. Like remember me?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
um something like that. And then kind of we started talking until since then and stuff like that, which yeah, I just have to give you a lot of props for that because you were like the first person that kind of like you know in obviously it was like unintentionally because someone in the chat said it, but like nonetheless like it still happened, and
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just one of those things that I just feel super grateful about because it was one of the big things that happened to me. Like, it was like July, this was like 5 or 6 months ago that this happened. And
Yeah.
like, I'm never going to forget that. And, we're joking about this in my stream like earlier, like you're still number one. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you're
I
still
still and I
number
have a
one.
founder's badge too.
Yeah, you
Don't
do.
forget.
You do
Yeah.
still have
Yeah.
a founder's badge. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Like that
Yeah,
goes to
dude.
show, like, and I truly, I'll know, like, I respect that a lot. Like, I'll never forget that, man. Like, it really does mean a lot to me.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
it was my pleasure because I could tell that you were really like when I first went into your stream. I could tell you were nervous because I remember you were playing chess and you were just
yes,
kind of
yeah,
like chilling and you were like not really chatting much. You were just kind of like vibing. You were trying to pick up on the cues, but you weren't. You could tell you were new. And
yeah,
like when I brought all those people over, you were a little bit overwhelmed. Like you didn't really
yeah,
know how to act. You're like, I don't know what's
yeah,
going on. Like, and,
yeah,
and I had to explain it to you because I was like, I feel bad now because I think this guy's been bamboozled. He's like, he's gonna end stream or something. He's just like I don't know what fucking's going on. Like, am I being bot followed? Like, like they're like,
well, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't even know what bot follow was back then. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
I was that new. I didn't know what was happening because, like, I remember like going back and checking because, like, I remember like at the time it's like you should go check out, Rugged at Zilla and check. I remember I called you. I think I remember I was embarrassing myself. I was like, is it Rujad, or something like that? And I remember like just completely embarrassing myself, not knowing how to even say your
I'll
name
have
or
to
anything
find
like
that. I have
that.
to find that VOD for me.
I don't know if I don't know if I'll be able to find it because
Wouldn't that be
it's so long
wild though?
ago. Um, but it was so funny, man. Like, just like that experience alone, I was like, oh my god. Like, I remember like even you watching. I'm like, chess is not really my thing, but this guy seems like a pretty cool guy, and I was like,
Yeah.
let's go,
That's what I
let's
mean.
go.
Dude,
Yeah,
it's cool. Like, no, it was my pleasure.
yeah,
It
dude.
was my pleasure.
Um, but in terms of plugging my shit, I'm Shmuelzy everywhere. SHMUELZY. You can find me anywhere. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. That's about pretty much it. Twitch, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm all over the place. I post on Twitter all the time. YouTube and TikTok, I'm going to be uploading stuff on there like at the beginning of February, middle of February. I'm going to be uploading regular content on there every single day, because I'll be finishing my full time job at McDonald's, and I'll be uploading content on there like all the time. So I'm really hyped for that. I'm streaming on Twitch like 5 days a week minimum, from like 3 or 5 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. That's usually when I start going live.
Hmm.
I've also got a Discord if you want to check out my Discord. But yeah, those are all my plugs. And if you guys are lurking in Adam's chat right now and you're not followed, it's a bit cringe. You guys should go give him a follow right now because you know surely you should give him a follow right now.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Yeah, dude.
I appreciate you, bro. Dude, it's been a pleasure. It's always a pleasure. And look, we'll have to get some games together, doing something.
Yeah,
If we can if there's any time you want to do a collab on something, you just let me know. We can do it together. I'm more than happy to
yeah,
to do it with you. And yeah, everybody in my community in the Zilla patch, obviously you know a bit more about the man, the Jewish fucking son, Shmuelzy. Give him a follow. Go and check him out. And yeah, it's a convenient time for you too because I mean, like you stream prior to when I go live, so you guys can just
yeah.
hang out with Shmuelzy for a bit and then come back over here. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Logical, right? Logical.
And another thing I should mention, not to put you
Mm.
on the spot, but Succubus and I, um, we were talking about this. Us three, we need to go to Frankie's Pizza. I feel like I don't know if you've ever been to Frankie's Pizza
I
before.
have, yeah.
I don't know. Is that it didn't sound you didn't sound too happy about that.
No,
You
no,
didn't
it's
sound
good. Yeah. No, I spoke to her about this yesterday.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
She gave me
Cool.
heads up. It's all
Give me
good.
heads up. Okay. Cool. We're gonna organize that. I feel like we should all meet up at Frankie's Pizza one night, just chill out and have a vibe and just chill
Yeah,
out.
100%. I'd be keen for that. Absolutely.
All right.
That'll be a wild conversation. Maybe we'll document it as well.
Yeah.
Imagine
Yeah.
vlog with the three of us. You know
Oh,
what?
dude.
Maybe we shouldn't. Maybe we fucking should. That'd probably go down
I
real,
think
real
that would be
bad.
interesting for sure, dude.
Alrighty, dude. Dude, I'll speak to you another time, and
Yeah,
good
dude.
luck with everything, bro. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
All
See
right.
you guys.
See ya.
Bye bye.